evening and welcome to Tinkering with Edkelar. It is time for a little, almost from scratch project here. I'm pretty sure that most of you are familiar with Mr. Carlson's lab on YouTube. If not, check it out. He has a pretty extensive collection of mostly tube electronics stuff. He also does some new designs now and then, and this one here, which he calls the Super Probe, has caught my eye. The overall idea behind it is a high-gain antenna that picks up any noise signals, usually caused by faulty components, and amplifies them so you can essentially listen in on electromagnetic noise. You can find the original design discussion linked in the description. Now, while Mr. Carlson published the schematic of the design, there is no PCB to go along with it. Perfect time to come up with a PCB design for some fun then! Let's start off with KiCad. Transferring the schematic into the project was simple enough. The foreshadowing started when picking footprints. The device is made up of two elements, the actual probe and a little audio amplifier and power supply unit. The probe needs to be shielded because, well, the main purpose of it is to pick up stray signals, but not just any random ones. Since I don't have a probe case to mod, I decided to go with something completely new, about 20 mm in diameter. That dictated the form of the probe PCB. Well, that and the fact that I still don't like SMD stuff. After putting the finishing touches on the layout, I sent off the PCB order. Along with the Nabu PC modem prototypes, you do remember that I had some extra PCBs in that order? And a bit later, the parts also came in and I can start assembling. Speaking of foreshadowing though, I seem to have picked a slightly too narrow resistor footprint. They need to bend over a bit too tight for my little bending tool. Making sure to tick off the components as I go along, so that I don't put the wrong values in. Now to the amplifier board. I saved myself the hassle of the surface mount audio amplifier IC for last. And bugger! That is the wrong 8-pin case footprint. Humph! I hate SMD and these weird designations. Lesson learned: always print and double check the layout before ordering. Even though in this case it wouldn't have helped because the IC was ordered at the same time. But I still want to finish the project, so I need to improvise slightly. As for the casing, I need something with shielding capacity. That means metal all around. For the amplifier, I found a reasonably well-fitting project box, but it left no room for the speaker. Darn! So I decided to put my tools to good use and make my own, in a similar design. Folding over 2 pieces of sheet metal, drill a few holes for the controls, plugs and speaker. Nice! The probe case is a different story. Naturally, it should be ergonomic. So, 20mm copper heating pipe and end caps to the rescue. I wonder how many alarms that trip to the hardware store set off. The pipe is cut to length and tidied up a bit. The probe has a switch that needs mounting. I use my mill to cut and drill the rough shape and then use my needle files to get the square corners. The end caps need holes for the probe tip, a piece of 50 ohm coax, the wire to the amplifier, a length of very flexible Twinax to carry the signal and power in a shielded fashion, and an opening for the indicator LED. What it also needs is a way to attach the end caps. As pipes, these normally would get soldered, But, well, I rather not heat up the probe to solder temperature with the electronics in it. So I drill a hole on both ends to take tiny screws. I also tried to punch the switch positions into the case, but it's hard to do that without squishing the pipe, so they are quite a bit shallower than I'd like. For a power supply, the design calls for about 5 volts. I don't want to put in batteries, and I have plenty of 12 volt wall warts around, so I'll try one of those DC to DC converters and see if the output is clean enough for the purpose. After adjusting the trimmer to what I think as a reasonable setting, I finagle the components into the probe case. Now, I did give the copper parts a quick polish and was quite surprised just how shiny these pipes got. It would be a shame to let it corrode again. So, into the nickel plating it goes. Time for a test. Works quite nicely, I think. And that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this little build project. See you next time! Now what else? Oh, a piece of pipe and 2 end caps. Oh my.